This weekend, Prince Harry will marry Meghan Markle in a wedding that's going to be a first for the royal family. I'm not talking about Meghan's racial heritage, her nationality or her religious education. I'm talking about the fact she's a feminist. It's one of the many things young women and men I've been speaking to find inspiring about her. Alongside, of course, the fact that she's built her own career based on talent, becoming a successful actor in Suits, she's used her visibility as a platform for activism and has pursued her passions in a lifestyle blog. In short, she's exactly the kind of woman so many others aspire to be. I say has. The reality is, since announcing her engagement, Meghan stopped doing every one of those things. Early, alarming indications are that she's preparing to be a traditional royal wife, performing charity, not activism, losing so much of the individuality that made her special. That would be so out of sync with what people want, and it would just be wrong.
I agree with much of what you say, but you say traditional royal wife. Well, have we seen so far a traditional royal wedding? Not in the least. I mean, the evidence is that you're worried that she's going to be crushed by the firm and that she's going to be sort of silenced. I'm not sure. I mean, I think everything's up for grabs right now. I have no idea what's going to happen on Saturday.
Well, are you talking about the chaos of the run-up to the wedding?
I'm talking about the cluster shambles of the royal wedding prep that we've seen and the failure of all the palaces to get a grip on the fact that the Markles are freelancing all over the shop. But let's leave that aside. You're right. She's the last thing that Meghan Markle said was women need to have a voice. They have to be empowered to use them. Since she said that, we have heard nothing. Now, it remains to be seen whether she will hit the ground running and be an advocate and an activist for all the charities that she's espoused so brilliantly in her career to date, or whether she will just be a fast breeder, a royal baby machine, as a royal baby every minute, you know, when the Middletons are around. I just think it's too soon to tell. Honestly, I feel that we're in really uncertain waters.
But I guess it's a question
she's changing the game.
I think we have an idea of what kind of person she is from what she's done in the past. But the question for me is, will the palace, will the monarchy be with it enough to recognise that allowing her to be herself would be an asset for them? I just want to show you what one royal biographer thinks about her potential impact.
With Meghan, we've got someone who is mixed race, who's a career woman, who's a divorcee, who's American, who comes from a broken home. These are all... I mean, she's more representative of our society today than the blonde daughter of an aristocrat ever could be.
And you can see more of that on Harry and Meghan, A Love Story, which is on Sky News now.
OK.
You're desperate
I'm
to speak.
very glad you played that in, because it completely destroys your argument, the reasons that we went through, that she's been married before, that she's mixed race, whatever it might be. I mean, we are talking about the British royal family, are we? Because it just doesn't resonate with me at all. Let me show you a picture of Her Majesty the Queen.
What doesn't resonate with you?
Were you saying that these traditional royal wives, and they sort of stand back and they don't pursue feminism? Can I take you back to before you were even thought of, probably before your father was thought of, the 1940s? Here's Her Majesty the Queen, as, of course, Princess Elizabeth, as a truck mechanic.
She was a royal wife.
I think that's a land... Hold on a second. It speaks to what she did. So you can put that in your truck and smoke it. And at the same time, you talk about Princess Diana. You said about...
That ended well.
Hold on. Not taking up certain causes. She was the first person to make physical contact with someone who had AIDS.
I know.
She went into those mines. She took on a load of unfashionable causes, completely opposed.
Let me ask you something. Do you think for somebody like Meghan Markle to look at Princess Diana, that is an attractive model as to what you will experience?
Her charity work, yes.
No, listen, I grew up watching Diana performing those.
Work.
Yes, and she paid the price. That's what we all saw.
What, for her charity
She paid
work?
the price for trying to break the mould of being a traditional royal wife.
Why?
You can't deny that, Nick.
No, it wasn't about trying to break her. She was just miserably unhappy in her marriage.
Rachel,
I think we're missing a point here, a massive point here.
Well, before you
Harry's obviously happy. All right?
we hear Meghan...
He's done extremely well for himself, all right? He's brought what he's brought to the table. The Queen's bending over backwards to accommodate, even paying for it, and turning up when she didn't turn up to Charles's gaff when he was getting married because he was remarried with
She didn't
Camilla.
go to St George's Chapel for Charles and Camilla. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure she didn't.
No, I don't think she did.
No, she didn't go. No,
I
she
wasn't
didn't.
watching that
So
one.
she declined that offer on the back of her position in the
Because
church.
it was a divorce
So she
thing,
is
yeah.
absolutely
Meghan's
busting.
divorced.
She's busting her guts to accommodate this
Values have
marriage.
changed.
Okay. And I wish them all the very best of luck.
Oh, so
everything they do. And I'm 100% behind it. All right. And I'll raise the glass to them now.
By the way, while
Absolutely.
we're speaking about feminism and women's voices, let's hear what Meghan has to say for herself about herself, shall we?
You got that in. Well done.
Right.
I think what's been really exciting as we talk about the transition of this out of my career but into the role is that, as you said, the causes that have been very important to me I can focus even more energy on, because very early out of the gate, I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility, which I take seriously. And at the same time, I think in these beginning few months and now being boots on the ground in the UK, I'm excited to just really get to know more about the different communities here, smaller organizations who are working on the same causes that I've always been passionate about under this umbrella.
Well, I didn't see Harry say anything right there.
That is why I worry about
He was
her.
quiet.
Look at her energy and her enthusiasm.
right.
She's going into
I'll
an
tell you what I'm more worried
institution
about.
that is terrifying.
I'll
But
tell you
she
what I'm
knows that.
more
Does she?
worried about. So, having beaten Harry and Meghan to being in a mixed-race relationship with an American.
You're not going to take her down the aisle, are you?
No. I got there first. But what I'm really worried about is that people make her race the subject of conversation, and it isn't just what we typically know of in terms of racism. She is simultaneously too white for people that insist that she isn't authentically black, and too black for others who are worried that the royal family is somehow being hijacked by some foreign invasion. Let me quote to you Professor Andrews from Birmingham University, who is teaching Britain's first Black Studies course, and he's called her a token. And I think, actually, I was surprised that you went down this line when actually I would have thought it's
I'm not worried about the
Yeah, hold on.
colour
You've
of
just
their
said
skin.
that people. You've just said that people
Yeah.
focus too much on her heritage.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about heritage. I'm talking about her feminism, and now you're bringing it back to her
Well,
heritage.
I'm criticising those who are doing so, and I think that whether it's Dr. Andrews is saying that she's basically a token and is there simply to act as window dressing.
I think that's
Or-
unfair. I know, Gahinde,
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
don't think that's a fair representation of what he's saying.
I'll quote you what he said. He
he's
said, when you
talking-
have symbols that make it look like things have changed and we celebrate it, that does more damage than it could ever do good.
That's not a criticism of Meghan Markle. That
Georgia
is a criticism
Chambers-
of the fact that racism in the UK is not a problem that will be solved
Hold on
by
a
a
minute.
royal wedding. That's
Hold on a minute.
He's not
Hold on a
casting any
minute.
judgment on her.
Why are you defending this? I don't believe it. I don't understand why you're defending this. No one should be called a token simply for existing.
He's not
Georgia
calling
Chambers
her
has
a
said,
token.
she's a journalist, he did use the word tokens. Georgia Chambers said she could pass as white. And I'm just astounded that people that talk about equality, when finally we achieve a symbol of precisely what Nick said and we saw in that video, a symbol of modern Britain, they want to drag it down, they want to pull it down and complain.
All right, if you're dragging it down, I'm going to lift you back up. Have a look at
Thank
this.
you.
This is another African-American woman who is marrying a white British man this Saturday, expressing her feelings about the royal wedding.
But I think what Meghan brings to the table is a little bit different. Is the element of it's going to be an international wedding, it's an interracial wedding. She's quite open about and very proud about the fact that she's a mixed race. I think that only is going to be beneficial because I'm in an interracial relationship, and bringing that to the foreground and to the mainstream is only going to hopefully have a positive impact. And I think she's handled it with elegance and grace.
That's lovely.
I think a lot of people are focusing on the positive of this. I think for many reasons people relate to Meghan. We have the highest rate of interracial relationships in the Western world. There are many people looking at that couple who can personally relate. She's a woman that I think young women aspire to be, passionate and
So why is
energetic.
this bloke dragging her down?
This
guy, Dr.
why are
Andrews.
we focusing on that? The question
He's
is,
focusing
the
on
more important question is not what Gahinde Andrews says, but whether the monarchy are ready to let a young woman like Meghan come in and thrive and not crush her individuality. And I really hope that they are.
I think they're already doing so. The Queen, like I say, has backed down to stuff. She's accommodating it. She's paying for it. All right? Now, we all know that things move on in time, and I think that they realise now that these are the people that are taking the royal family forward, and so we've got to roll with these people that are doing it for us now. And so I don't believe that she'll be dragged into any sort of, debacle.
I think it's all about partly what Meghan wants. If she's going into this, she's ended her career on American TV, where she was starring in the top-rated show, Suits. Maybe she regards this as the greatest part she will ever play, and this is the one she actually wants to do. And the other thing we have to look at is if the royal households don't want to have another failed royal marriage on their hands. They have got to let Meghan be Meghan, and they have got to allow her some self-determination in what she does from Saturday onwards.
I think the signs are already there that that's going to happen.
I tell you, I met her in Canada a week before this was announced, and we shared a panel together. And I said, "Sorry, so what do you do?" And she said, "Oh, I'm in some TV program called Suits." I said, "What's that?"
Did you say I'm in
I
one
had
too?
no idea. I was thinking too. Anyway, we've got to move on.
Very impressive, Majid. Always with the news. Majid Nawaz, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic work.
Completely missed it there, didn't I? Didn't even ask for a number.